The Swedish listed but Irish company Kollect On Demand have closed their books today for the second quarter of 2022. And with me here on link to comment on the report, I have its CFO, Jamie Walsh. Good day, Jamie.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
Since it's your first time here, we usually have these with John O'Connor. I thought you could take the opportunity to present yourself. Who are you?
Sure, I'm Jamie Walsh. I'm the CFO of Kollect On Demand, and I have been with the company in that position since before our IPO back in early 2019. I joined the company, so hopefully I can answer the questions as well as John does.
Let's hope that you do, because we're going to head into report now where you could report a record quarter when it comes to your revenue, double-digit increases from both Q2 2021 but also Q1 in 2022. It landed on 16.9 million SEK. With the increased revenue came, however, also the increased loss, 6.6 million it landed on. Tell us, what was it that drove the revenues and what was it that drove the expenses?
Yeah, so thanks very much. And we're very pleased to record the record revenues for the period, both total revenue, but also when broken down into our two main areas, recurring and non-recurring revenue. They were both record revenues for those two areas too. But you're right, there was a loss, and it was driven by operating expenses really, which included the reorganization of the business following the disposal earlier on in the year of a subsidiary, which we don't expect those costs to continue after this quarter. But we also continue to invest in sales and marketing, which help contribute to the record performance. And we also continue to invest in our commercial team, supporting the growth of recurring revenue, which we see as an investment for the future.
The both recurring revenue and non-recurring revenue saw a record in revenue, but they are mostly the same. It stands at 50-50 right now, according to your figures. Non-recurring revenue is slightly stronger. In your CEO note, or in John's CEO note rather, you highlighted a new e-commerce platform that is according to your new strategy, where digitalization is key. Tell us more about the platform and what sets it apart from your app.
Sure. So the e-commerce solution will provide us a best-in-class online solution, and that's not best-in-class in the waste industry. We're holding ourselves up against other e-commerce businesses. That's the bar we're setting for ourselves. When we look at traffic to our website, the vast majority of it is coming from mobile, and that's a trend which we're also seeing increase. So it's important for us that we future-proof by continuing to invest. We need to be where our customers are looking to purchase. When we look at the data and when we look at the underlying trends in other industries, that's online, and that's why we're investing to take advantage of the position where we're already in as the leader in the digital space within the waste industry.
Is the e-commerce platform front end on your website, or is it back end in systems?
It's so the e-commerce is going to be on the front end. Towards the end of last year and the start of this year, we did a lot of work on our back end. And there will be all of the usual integrations that would be expected to help improve our processes and our live information. But we were fortunate that we did the back end first, and now we're really looking at developing the front end for our customers.
Recurring revenue is part of your strategy, and I'm curious to know this e-commerce platform that is a part of the strategy as well. How do you expect it to affect your recurring revenue versus your non-recurring revenue?
So the new e-commerce platform that'll primarily support domestic households, which is typically non-recurring revenue, because it's going to appeal to people at home and general customers. But what we have seen over the last number of quarters, and indeed including this quarter, that the growth rates in the recurring revenue side of the business have been very high, and we don't expect to see that trend decline within the recurring revenue business, but we expect to see the new e-commerce platform support the growth in the non-recurring revenue going forward.
We'll have to talk about Big Bin as well, because during the quarter you announced 2 new Big Bin sites, both in Dungarvan and in Callan during the quarter. This makes your total sites reach 40 sites when you exited the quarter, and so far into Q3 you also added 2 new sites, Bishopstown and Clane. Tell us, when do you expect these Big Bin sites to be delivered?
Yeah, so we've already got bins on the two sites in Q3 in Bishopstown and Clane, but we also have an order in with our suppliers who should be delivering bins throughout the rest of Q3 and then into Q4 for the rest of the year. So we should be seeing new sites added as the year progresses.
During Q1, you announced a partnership with B&Q. I thought we could talk a little bit about that, but since Kollect wasn't here with us last quarter, I'm also curious about this partnership. What can you tell us? How will it work?
Sure. So B&Q is a leading DIY retailer in the UK and Ireland, and we signed a partnership with their stores in Q1 of this year. The comparable businesses and stores are Home Depot in the USA or Bauhaus in Sweden. They sell many products that you'd expect in a DIY store, and one of them where we think we're going to work best with them is kitchens. So the foundation of our offering is that when a customer goes into a B&Q store, they're buying a new kitchen, but they have to dispose and get rid of or recycle the kitchen they already have in their house. So through our partnership with B&Q, that's where Kollect step in and we facilitate the removal of their old kitchen at a time which is convenient to the customer, knowing that the new one is going to be installed at a set day.
I was under the impression that the over-the-counter, as it states in John's CEO letter, was well, as you would expect, over the counter. But how does this align with your 2024 strategy regarding digitalization?
Sure, and I think it exactly as you say, we'll be over the counter effectively through our retail partners B&Q. And I think it's an important part because we have our technology and we have our integrations with the stores, which makes it a seamless process for both the consumer and for B&Q and for ourselves. So I think that in terms of digitalization is an important piece of it. But there are other aspects of our overall strategy which this is important for. We have brand recognition and growing the brand and a partnership with such a well-known company in the space. I think that's definitely going to help our strategy. And it's also, again, as I was talking about earlier with the e-commerce platform, it's important for us to meet our customers where they are and where they want to purchase. And if that's in store and we can use our technology in a different way through those back-end integrations that we've already invested in, then I think that's great too.
We have stepped a little bit into Q3, and it says in the report that you've already received orders from this partnership. What's your first impressions? What are the volumes like?
Yeah, so as we said, we've only just really kicked off, and so volumes are exactly where we'd expect them to be at such an early stage. But we are very hopeful for the partnership going forward, and not only the partnership with B&Q, but also, as I was saying, as we can grow our brand and in store with B&Q as well as our brand outside as a standalone. I think we're hopeful of seeing an increased volume of sales going forward in the future.
We'll look forward to seeing more from that then. Jamie, that was all my questions, but I thank you very much for your time and wish both you and Kollect continued luck.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your questions as well, and thanks for having me.